Okay, in this video we're going to look at how to add and subtract algebraic fractions. But before we get into it, I'll just talk about the different methods you can use, okay? So one method is common denominator, okay? And the other one is cross multiplication. Just like you add and subtract regular fractions, okay? So you did a bit of this when you were solving the linear fractional equations. So if you haven't done that exercise, it's probably best to do that first before you look at these ones here, okay? Right, so let's look at common denominator, and let's actually talk about numerical fractions first of all. So just regular old fractions. Now if I had a half, add a third, okay, the common denominator is clearly 6. But how do you make sure that both fractions have the same denominator? Well, you times top and bottom by 2. Sorry, not 2. You times top and bottom by something. Oh god, I'm getting this wrong, aren't I? So it's a half, add a third. So we need to times top and bottom by something to make sure that they have the same denominator. So on this one, you need to times top and bottom by 3. Okay, and this one we need to times top and bottom by 2. So this would be 3 over 6, and this would be 2 over 6. Okay, when they have the same denominator, you just add the numerators. So 3 add 2 is 5, and then be out of 6. So 5 over 6 is the answer. Okay, the same principle applies to algebraic fractions. Okay, we need to get the same denominator. Now, first of all, just remember that you can't cancel things out. So remember, you can't cancel those x's out or those ones. Okay, just remember that. Watch the previous video if you're not sure why that is. So look at simplifying algebraic fractions if you haven't done so already. Okay. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to put brackets around these. Okay, because they are the numerators, and that x is trapped with that plus 2. They're kind of together. That 2x and that plus 3 are together, and the brackets kind of make sure that those two things are together. Okay. Right, now if you look at it, the denominator here is x minus 1. The denominator here is x plus 2x plus 3. So what we want to do is make sure that both fractions have the same denominator. So we're going to do this trick. We're going to multiply top and bottom by something to make sure it has the same denominator. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this first fraction, top and bottom, by 2x plus 3. And 2x plus 3, sorry for the messy handwriting. And this one I'm going to multiply top and bottom by x take away 1. Okay, so this is the first stage. You want to get the common denominator, times top and bottom by the bracket that fraction doesn't have. Okay, so on the top we'll get 2x plus 3 times x plus 1 over 2x plus 3, 2 plus 3, and x take away 1, add x plus 2 times 2x, sorry, times, go away, x take away 1, all over 2x plus 3, x take away 1. Okay, so what we've done is we multiplied both fractions top and bottom by something to make sure that the denominators are identical to each other. So on the bottom we've got both the same brackets on the bottom. Okay, just like when we had both fractions over 6. Okay, so remember we got 3 times 2 on the bottom and 2 times 3 on the other one. The common denominator, we got it to be 6. So that's the idea. We want to get the same denominator. Okay, now when we have the same denominator, what did we do? Well, we just added the tops. So let me write this next to. We need a really big fraction line. Okay, and we're going to add the tops together. So on the top we've got 2x plus 3, x plus 1 added together to these two double brackets, all over. Now remember, the common denominator was 6 on that one. So what's the common denominator here? Well, it's these two double brackets. So we only need to write them once. Okay. Sometimes students write them out twice because they think that's what they need to do. But think about it logically. On the bottom of the fraction, if it's the same thing on the bottom of the fraction, the answer is always out the same thing. Okay. So it's got to be out of those two double brackets there. Okay, now what do we need to do next? Okay, well, we need to do a bit of cleaning up. So we need to expand all the double brackets. Now on the top, we have to expand these two double brackets, and then these two double brackets, and then whatever terms we get, we need to add together. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so let me draw another fraction line. Okay, so on the top, now I might do a little. Okay, I'll tell you what. I might do. Okay, I might do it quickly on this one, and I might do it the long-winded way on this one. So this is going to be 2x squared. So remember, 2x times x is 2x squared, plus 2x times 1, so it's 2x. 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, that's that one. Now this one is a monic, so I'm just going to write... Now, okay, remember it's an add sign in the middle. Add. And then it will be x squared. Now x times that is minus x, and then I'll get a 2x, so that's going to give me a positive x. Take away 2. Remember, 2 times minus 1. Now on the bottom, I'll do it quickly, so it'll be 2x squared. It'll be take away 2x, add 3x, so that's going to be a plus x, take away 3. Okay, let me get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, so this is the expanded top and expanded bottom. Now we need to just simplify, okay? So 2x squared is going to add that x squared, so that is 3x squared. And then 2x add 3x is 5x, add that extra x makes 6x. And then 3 take away 2 is 1, so, oh, sorry, positive 1, okay? Now on the bottom, we're left with just this, okay? So let's get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Okay, so let's convert that. Right, so this is the final answer. Now don't go start crossing the x squareds and the x's off. Remember, you can't do that now because there's pluses and takeaways in the middle, okay? You can if you wanted to factorize these again and see if anything cancels out, but I've kind of designed it in the way that there probably isn't anything that can factorize, sorry, and then that you can cancel out. So this is the final answer, okay? And there we go, that's it. Now, we'll do the next one, but we'll do one where there's a takeaway in the middle. Okay, and then we'll use, let's do another one where there's a bit more. Okay, that's a bit too easy. That's too easy, too easy. Should we do that one? Yeah, alright, let's do this one. Okay, we'll use cross multiplication on this one, because it's a little bit quicker than common denominator, okay? But we have to be careful because this minus sign in the middle is going to affect things. Actually, I tell you what, let's just do another one where it's takeaway, but with... Yeah, let's do this one here. Okay, so this minus sign in the middle is going to affect things, so we need to be really, really careful with that, okay? So let's draw a big fraction line. Okay, now I really need to get a ruler on this. Okay, let's get ruler. Have I got a ruler? Oh, for heaven's sake. I can't actually draw a straight line. There we go. Okay, actually it needs to be much, much longer than that. There we go. Right. Okay, so let's put brackets around these. Okay, now the way cross multiplication works is this, and the order is essential. Okay, so we take this top bracket and multiply it with this bottom bracket. Okay, so we won't expand it, we'll leave it in bracket form. Okay, now there's a takeaway sign in the middle, so we write that here. And then we multiply these two next, and that's the order. It's very important, otherwise you'll get the incorrect answer. So then we multiply these two diagonals here, but don't expand anything. Leave it in bracket form. You'll see why in a minute. Okay. Okay. And then on the bottom, it's these two times together. So it's 2x take away 1, and it's x take away 2. Now, okay, we need to expand things, but we have to be careful with this second part here because that minus is going to affect things in a minute. Okay, let's multiply that one out. Well, that's going to be x squared, and let's do it quickly because it's a monic. I'll get a minus 2x, add an x, so that's minus x, and then it'll be minus 2. Okay, now this one you have to be careful. Okay, what you want to do is multiply these two out first, but write it in a new bracket. Okay. And then put the takeaway here. That takeaway is there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand and simplify and write the answer in this bracket here, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to get a 4x squared, okay, and now in the middle I'm going to get a minus 2x, add 6x, so it's going to be plus 4x, and at the end I'm going to get a minus 3, okay. Now this is what's going to happen now, okay. That minus, think about it as like a minus 1. It's going to multiply this thing here, okay. So that minus effectively is going to flip the sign of all of these here. So let's actually get rid of that, okay, because we, oh damn, okay, we've got it here, haven't we? So what we end up on the top is we end up with x squared, take away x, take away 2, and then this thing here becomes minus 4x squared, minus 4x, and then plus 3. Think about it as like minus, that minus is multiplying each one of these terms, okay? So you've expanded and simplified the double bracket, you write it in a new bracket, and then multiply it by minus 1, okay? Or effectively multiply it by that minus, which changes the sign. So inside the bracket that's a positive, but it becomes negative. That's a positive, becomes negative. And this is a minus, which becomes positive. And now on the bottom, the two double brackets were these two, weren't they? So we'll get a 2x squared, and we'll have a minus 4x, and then a minus x is minus 5x, and then at the end it's minus 1 times minus 2, which is positive 2. So that's the bottom. Okay, let's get rid of all that. Okay, now on the top, what do we simplify? Well, x squared take away 4x squared is minus 3x squared, and minus x take away 5x is minus 5x, and minus 2 add 3 is positive 1, all over these two, sorry, this. Okay, and let's convert that. Okay, convert. Doesn't seem to like that. Okay, convert. Check answer. Okay, well, oh, there we go, right. So we made no errors, okay? Now you can do that whole question in one go, but you might want a ruler to make sure that's kind of flat. And just be careful, because it's quite a lot of work, set your work out really clearly, otherwise the computer doesn't kind of like it. It needs to be kind of set out quite clearly, okay? So there's your two methods, cross multiplication and common denominator. And it's up to you which one you use, but just be careful about that minus in the middle, because it affects what the second part becomes, okay? Now remember what I said, you don't need to do loads of questions, 4 or 5 correct in a row, and then move on. You need to be able to do this well, really, really well, in order to be able to solve these kind of like equations based on these, okay? So make sure you practice this before you move on to the next stage, okay? You want to be getting it right 100% of the time, okay? All right, thank you for watching.